A growing herd of bison near the Grand Canyon is threatening some of its fragile ecosystem.
Arizona PBS and Cronkite News reporter Drew Marine were granted exclusive access to the area where the herd roams to learn about plans to thin out the population.
Bison were brought to the Grand Canyon in the early 1900s to a wildlife viewing area, but when they weren't useful, they were left to roam. Those 100 animals now number 400 to 600, and they're wiping out everything in their path. Some 200 miles from the south rim of the Grand Canyon, a trek through a thick forest of fallen trees and muddy trails with biologist Brandon Holton leads to a landscape of meadows devoid of vegetation and depleted of water sources.
Out here, you just have, our meadows are just overgrazed to the point where, you know, our grass is this high.
Overgrazed by these behemoths. Up to 1,400-pound bison grazing to ensure their own survival, but at the same time threatening the future of other wildlife inside the Kaibab National Forest. This area used to be covered in plants and had plenty of running water, but because of the bison's impact, it's more of a mud hole. And now it's affecting animals like deer and bats.
And when they come here, they can't access this water. They need, you know, ponded type water in order to drink, in order to come down and glean the water surface and drink. Here, we don't have that condition anymore.
So the National Park Service is planning to recruit gun-toting volunteers to help cull the herd from about 600 to 200, rather than watch the number of bison triple in size over the next 10 years.
I'm a little bit upset that there was this decision to only plan for the shorter term.
Conservationists are disheartened that hunting is the first option being deployed.
I would hate to see the Kaibab National Forest and Grand Canyon National Park turned into a game farm for this species.
Gitlin, like many others against the culling, insists there are other solutions.
The park is capable of getting these animals rounded up and getting them contained and transported in a humane manner. And I would like to see that be the primary mechanism of moving these animals.
That's sort of a struggle that the National Park Service has, I would say, is how best to manage all resources within the park. One resource being the bison, one resource being water, one resource being vegetation.
While the culling hasn't happened quite yet, the federal government is hoping to reduce the number of bison as soon as possible and see some positive results in the park.
Right now we're focusing on the short term, but we will continue to look long term as well as we study what happens with this initial herd reduction.
In the meantime, these bison will continue to leave their mark on the area.
Yeah, we just picked up the bison trail right through here and then got to this point and spooked a small herd right through the woods here.
This herd can call the North Rim their home for now, roaming the forests and meadows until the end of the year. The Park Service is considering whether some of the bison will be captured and moved to other parks or Indian communities that agree to take them. But the reduction program is expected to start early next year. Drew Marine, Cronkite News.